The act of thinking about an experience, as well as expressing emotions, seems to be important. In this way, writing can help organize thoughts and give meaning to a traumatic experience. Or the process of writing may enable them to learn to better regulate their emotions. It's also possible that writing about something fosters an intellectual process. The act of constructing a story about a traumatic event that helps someone break free of the endless mental cycling, more typical of brooding or rumination. Finally, when people open up privately about a traumatic event, they are more likely to talk with others about it, suggesting that writing can lead indirectly to reaching out for social support that can aid healing. That was what a Harvard study found in their research. To sum it up even more, expressive writing has been shown to help overcome emotional inhibition, regulate emotions, and break a cycle of excessive rumination. Now, you might be thinking that we don't need to be lectured on the benefits of writing. I looked it up anyway. Interestingly, I found the work of psychologist Barbara Markway. There's simply no better way to learn about your thought processes than to write them down. End quote. Why is that? And what are other benefits that we can expect from simply writing things down? Well, it turns out that writing, you ready for this list? From 1 to 12, there are 12 things on this list. Number 1, strengthens the immune system. 2, reduces anxiety and stress. 3, leads to better sleep. 4, can help lower blood pressure. 5, helps us examine our thoughts and shift perspective. 6, fosters self-awareness and a greater awareness of others. 7, increases well-being and gratitude. 8, helps us define goals and track progress. 9, can help us understand our emotions and what triggers them. 10, supports better problem solving. 11, helps us document history and preserve memories. And lastly, 12, can be a social connector. What also came to mind when I read this was the actual difference between typing and putting pen to paper. On paper, you can choose to welcome the graphic freedom it gives you, whether it's lined paper or grid or a blank canvas. Within the guidelines that you choose, you are still in charge of where the indents go, how you space things out as you flow. Perhaps there's even room for a pause and a doodle. What we might forget sometimes with the sensation of hand pressure to paper is that there isn't a backspace button to be hitting freely at your disposal. You actually have to be mindful of what you write. Unless you're the type who can look at a written letter with words crossed out and inserted all over the place, props to you. I am learning to not let little things like that stop me from this practice. And change takes time. Today's practice, write a letter to your future self. That future self could be well in your 80s, or it could be 10 years from now. Identify which future self you want to write to and get something to write with. I am not here to tell you what to write because it comes down to what you want to remember as your future self during this difficult time. Here are some ideas. Do you want to be honest about your fears and hopes? What are some lessons you're learning now that you want to remember in the future? How are you taking care of yourself and what can you remind yourself of? Now, if putting pen to paper is a pretty big change for you, I invite you to take it easy at the start. There are many ways you can do this. I will suggest 2 ways here. Option 1, take the time to write only one letter. I mean one letter, I don't mean one page. I just mean one letter. It might take you a whole day or more than a day to complete your letter, and that is okay. The point here is that you exercise all of the skills you don't often get to into this practice. Get to know another part of yourself. To do that, you might have to give yourself permission to try something different. Option 2, start with questions. If you're not used to unprompted writing, create your own prompts, and they can be questions. What are some questions you think your future self would want to ask the present you? Jot those questions down and start writing your responses. Give yourself room to surprise yourself. If you've seen our most recent Instagram post on mindfulness, then you've guessed right. This is a mindfulness practice. Thank you for joining us in this week's journey of the Fit, Focus, and Sane program. We'll see you next week.